Welcome to ReMarkTO podcast. Dave, how you doing?
I'm great, Addy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Before we
Good.
get started, I just wanted to ask all of our listeners to do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you leave a 5-star review. And if you can put a comment in there, that'd be great. ReMarkTO, Real Estate Marketing Toronto. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, www.remarktolive.com. Dave, you want to talk about our guest today?
Oh, Addy, today was such a wonderful conversation. A really old friend to both of us. Again, someone who's just on the cutting edge of everything. One of the most innovative people, one of the most interesting people I know. Danny Wood came to visit us today and shared with us 15 of the best tricks and tips that he knows for integrating your phone, for using your phone and making it more efficient for you. I found it as I was scribbling like crazy the whole time he was doing it. It was just unbelievable. As a podcast, it may be a little bit challenging to listen to, but if you listen to this podcast with your phone in your hand, you may find it a lot more productive. You'll be amazed at what you're going to learn.
Yeah, please don't. To all of our listeners, please don't do it while you're driving. It's a great way. It's a great way to make some mental notes. And while you're doing it, if you can press that button on your steering, tell Siri to remember it. But please don't try this while you're driving. Be safe out there. Enjoy the podcast.
And without any further ado, here's Danny.
Hey guys, what's up?
We're good. How are you doing?
Waking up early, getting excited to crush another day.
Oh, on the West Coast. Dan, listen, you've been a really good friend to ReMarkTO over the years. This must be your third or fourth visit with us. And particularly in this new format, it's wonderful to be able to do it with you when you're way over in British Columbia. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it won't matter where I am. I'll always tune in to connect with you guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for doing that.
that.
How have things been for you?
Lots of changes with COVID. Like the business had to change and pivot a little bit. But all in a good way. Like when COVID first hit in March, it was like, it didn't feel right to launch a new product. It didn't feel right to post about like me having fun. It didn't feel right to post about anything. So for about a month, it was like a lull. And then I don't know, I woke up one Monday, just like, I didn't do anything different. I just woke up and my calendar was pre-booked 3 months in advance. There wasn't a single time slot open. And I don't know, the industry just like caught fire, and a lot of real estate agents in particular, 2020 was one of their best years ever. Yeah. Not everybody, some people didn't, but almost everybody I talked to. And I don't know, we're all just kind of riding that wave. So yeah.
So let's just get into it. So Danny, do you want to just introduce yourself to our listeners and give us a little bit of a synopsis of where you started and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. Yeah. Danny Wood. I'm a real estate coach now, public speaker, trainer. I first started as a single individual real estate agent in 2007. And then right away, I realized I needed a team because I wasn't good at the paperwork. I wasn't good with contracts. Like, we have to wear so many hats in this industry. And I discovered that my hat is marketing and lead generation and prospecting and follow up and setting appointments. Where I didn't have strong suits was doing the contract work and the paperwork and like accounting and stuff like that. It's just like didn't bring me joy. It really wasn't something I could lean into. So yeah, set up the team right away, and I was just giving other agents the referrals. So it was like purely just a referral based business, because all I could just like make it rain, get people ready to hop in a car and look at homes or come list me. And then I would give them to another agent. I'd be like, oh no, you totally want to work with Becky. She's a listing agent. She's way better than I am. I'm going to have her set up to come over see you this Tuesday at 3:00. How's that? And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So then they have no problem not working with me. And then I just did a referral. Did that for a couple years. And then people wanted to hear how I was generating a bunch of leads. So I started doing speaking at brokerages. A lot of people don't know this, but I did about 300 office seminars. So I did 300 talks without charging a dime. I didn't have an upsell. A lot of times when you hear a seminar at an office, it's kind of tied in with an upsell. No upsell, no charging of anything. It was purely just for what was in it for me was I was getting agent-to-agent referrals, because they all knew I was from Oshawa and they didn't want to work in Oshawa, so they would give me the referrals. So I would get like 16 referrals a year or something like that. I think that was the average, was 16. And it was just from me being face to face with as many agents as possible. Then eventually, a lot of the agents in the audience would be, well, that's great, but can you just do it for me? So one-on-one coaching became a thing. And then I became super unhealthy because I was like a prisoner of that time slot. So say you and I become coaching clients and you're paying like $1,000 a month or whatever you're paying. What happens is you and I would have a set time. Okay, on the first Tuesday of every month is our time slot. Well, I became a prisoner of that time slot. You're paying a lot of money for that, and I couldn't go and do other talks. I couldn't go and run or bike. I couldn't go and do a whole bunch of stuff. And it was like the opposite of why I became an entrepreneur. So when I realized I was trading time for money, I made a huge change. I think around 2014 is when I made a big change going towards into passive reoccurring revenue. So I went to NAR, which is a conference, and I sold a DVD. And the DVD, it was like a 3-day conference. It cost me like $4,000 for the booth, the 10 by 10 booth. And I sold like $60,000 worth of these DVDs, but it was a one-off transaction. Like I sold the DVD and then I never like saw or heard of the person again. So what I ended up doing was taking that DVD and white labeling it so that brokerages, real estate brokerages, could offer it to their agents as training, but it looked like it was coming from that office. So all the training was already done. And as I added new training to the online portal, it got rebranded by hundreds of different brokerages, and they were just paying a monthly fee, kind of like Netflix. And the agent can, instead of binging like comedy shows, they can binge my dry delivery of how to run a real estate business. And that fast forward to where we are today. And I'm still doing that. I still do coaching. I do more of like a mass group coaching. Because if I can trade 1 hour of my time and affect hundreds or thousands, I would rather that than like 50 individual calls type of thing. So that's like a really fast synopsis of 2007 to 2020.
I
And
think
here we are now.
Yeah, I think my first meeting with you was back, I think close to 2007, 2008, somewhere, excuse me, around that time. When I met you at the KW office in Mississauga.
Yeah, okay.
I think you were there teaching a class, or you were doing a seminar over there. That was my first
that would have been around the time where I was not charging or selling anything. I was just like doing it to get referrals from agents.
Yeah, and then fast forward from there, my next business dealing with you was when I actually subscribed to your service for my brokerage in Mississauga. And you Brokerage Nation, we actually had that training program set up, and we were offering coaching services to all of our clients. And then after that, you've been a guest on ReMarkTO multiple times, and it's I have nothing but praise for you for what you do and the way you think. There's not a lot of people that I say this about. The way you think is very, very different than what you usually see out there.
You know what I contribute that to? For any of the kids listening, I failed grade 1. And I never stop failing. I just keep failing forward. So a lot of people are so afraid of leaning into like the fear and unknown of being really shitty on video, or the fear and unknown of looking bad doing something, whatever it happens to be. I just got really comfortable with being okay with not being good. And it just really makes you better at getting up and continuing. And that's really it. I mean, I had to really be creative of how I got to the end result, because I wasn't good at studying the books and memorizing pages. So I had to, what's in my current physical space and how can I make it get me to the next goal? Whatever it happens to be. I don't have to have all the tools and all the answers, but I'll try and make something work with what I currently have. And I just apply that to everything. If I could instill anything on teenagers when they become in like older adults, and that would be just to be a professional problem solver. If you can be a professional problem solver, you'll be leading the company. Everybody else is just like, they don't want to like do it for themselves. They want somebody else to do it for them. Mm-hmm. I'm just always solving problems. Everything's a problem.
That's a good way of looking at everything that you do in your life.
Yeah, totally.
What's the one thing that,
just love that.
Yeah. What's the one thing that people don't know about you that should?
Oh man. I like animals more than people. Yeah, I like animals more than people. A lot of people don't know that. I'm definitely a runner. So right now I'm doing a 5K race in every state and province, and this is a 5-year road trip. I bought a motorhome, and that's what this is right here. So I move to a new city every month, and I'm documenting this 5K race. And at the end of it, I'm going to bronze my shoes, one for my mom and one for my dad. And on the sole is going to be engraved everywhere that I stepped. And I got like a journal of all of those races, and I'm more than halfway done.
That's
So
amazing.
That's
yeah,
fantastic. That's been like 2020 must have slowed that down.
yeah. So yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So normally we move every month.
Yeah.
We were in Disney World when COVID hit. Disney shut, Orlando shut, and we just like went right back to Canada. And now I'm in BC. I'm not complaining. Like BC is awesome. I'm probably going to move here full time when I'm done doing this road trip. But yeah, I'm not moving nearly as much. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the topic of the day. So you're talking about tips and tricks for smartphones, smartphone users.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be doing a screen share as well. So anybody that is watching that want to follow along, you're welcome to join us at ReMarkTO where the video is posted, and you can see all the tips and tricks being done. Danny's going to try to explain everything as he's going along. So for all of our listeners that are in podcast world, as long as if you're driving, please don't do this. Do it when you're safe in front of a computer. And Danny, I'll let you take it away.
Cool, man. All right. Yeah. Smartphones are definitely key to our business, especially as we live and work remotely. And so it doesn't matter what business you're in. I'm going to tie this in with real estate examples, but really it will work for any industry. And it's going to be like Danny Wood's top 10 or David Letterman's top 10. And it's going to be specific on your phone. And I don't care if you're Android or iPhone, it will work for both. So my first tip is keyboard shortcuts. I was so sick and tired on my phone of having to retype out the same things. Like, do you ever have to type out your website? Say you're answering somebody through Facebook Messenger or email, and you have to type out your website. Or you have like common responses to certain internet leads. Like if I get a buyer internet lead or a seller internet lead directly on my phone, it doesn't have canned responses. Well, keyboard shortcuts is a way that I actually hack my phone into helping me out. And have you ever like on your phone typed something and then it auto corrects the wrong thing? Like all the time, right?
Yes.
Well, you can actually program your phone how to auto correct. So as an example, if you want to learn how to do this, just Google search the name of your phone. So in my case, I would Google search Apple iPhone keyboard shortcuts. So I would Google search that, and then Google is going to show you how to do it. And then do the same thing for your Android, okay? So if you want to know how I'm doing what I'm talking about, that's what you're going to do. Search the name of your phone, and then add the word keyboard shortcuts. So here's a couple examples is if I type out QWE on my keyboard, it will autocorrect and say, thanks for saving me in your phone, Dan Wood, 905-903-5442, and my email. Why did I do QWE? If you look on a keyboard, it's the very top left keys. QWE is the very top row, and all I have to do is smudge my thumb right across. So it's like, and it automatically types out all that information for me. If I type out MYO, so my office, it will automatically type out, my office is located at 119 Wood Street, park around the corner, you're going to want to go up to the second floor, blah, blah, blah. It's got a link directly to like a Google map link right in it, just by me typing in MYO. And if I typed in MYW for my Whitby, like this is my own coding thing. I just, the shortcut is whatever you want to make it be. And I just happen to use the MY and then whatever letter makes sense. So MYW would be my Whitby office. MYC would be my cell phone. MYE, it will type out my email. So now all I have to do is type 3 letters instead of like a bazillion letters. And it just makes me way more efficient at communicating with people on the go. If I type out MY lead, it will automatically type out an auto reply for internet leads that I get. So there's like so many different ways that you can leverage this shortcut coding thing. And it's literally, I just use MY for my, and it all has to be no spaces. So it's all together as like one word. And once you get to the habit of doing this, like I probably have 50 keyboard shortcuts that I use quite frequently. Anytime I find myself typing out the same thing multiple times, like if I type something 10 times in a week and it's the same thing, I'll make a keyboard shortcut for it.
Makes sense. That's really good. So this way you also get rid of any spelling mistakes and all those, so you come across more professional as well. Because you're obviously, one of the things that I have is I find sometimes I'll put like a .com, I'll say .con, or you miss the dot in the right place. So all those things go away.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Tip number 2 is sharing contacts. So you can save a digital contact card in your own phone. So I have me saved in my phone. I went to contacts, I added a new contact, and I added Danny Wood. My phone number, my email, my address, my toll-free number, all my social media links, all my websites, a profile picture, my logo, a description. I filled out the whole thing. And now when you look at a contact card on your phone, you can share that with other people. So now instead of me texting a person saying, hey, thanks for saving me in your phone, do you think that person is actually going to copy my first name, open up the contact app and then add it, and then go back to the message and copy the phone number and go back and add it as a phone number? No way. Nobody, very few people are going to do that. But if I send them the contact card already done and saved, all they have to do is press a button. And it'll work on iPhone, it'll work on Android. You just have to go to contacts and save it as a contact. And now you can easily share that contact. You try this out later. Just open up any contact and scroll down to the bottom and you'll see a share option. Well, now imagine if you had you saved in your own phone, you could easily share that with people and it's got everything already typed out for them. So if you don't know how to do this, just Google search iPhone save contact or Android save contact, and they're going to show you step by step how to do it. But the concept is really simple. Whenever I'm done a conversation with a person, I'll say, hey, by chance, was this your cell phone? And it's 2020, so everybody says, yeah. And I'm like, awesome. Okay, when we hang up, I'm going to text you my contact info in case you want to book a showing, you got questions, or you just want to reach me in any way, you can easily do that, okay? Whether they actually save it in their phone or not, I have no idea, but I'm making it a million times easier.
The other thing I like about that as well is the note field that you have there. You have it all filled out. And that's something that I had used in the past, because and that field is searchable. So if you're searching for something in contacts, it will search the notes fields as well, and it will bring out the contact for that.
Ooh, yeah, good tip. I didn't even think of that. In the note field, we would include VIP access to our website so that people don't have to register. There's cool little stuff you can do in that note field for sure. Adding to home screen. So on all of our devices, when you're looking at a web page, you can add that web page to your phone as if it was an app. So I had so many apps. How many times do you look at your phone and you go to the app store and it's like, oh, you got 35 apps to update. And you're like, oh, shit. Okay, so you update them. And then 2 days later, it's like, haha, 6 more. And you're like, God damn. So you update 6 more apps. It's just we're always updating these apps. Why do I need all these apps? I don't need all these apps. As an example, Bell, the Bell Mobility app, I only needed it to see what my data usage was. And it was always needing updated. Well, I thought, can't I just log into Bell on my web browser and then check the data usage that way? And the answer is yes. So then I can, when I'm on that page specifically that shows me what my data usage is within Bell, it's a specific URL. I can just hit the add to home screen button. And now I have that added on my phone as an app, and it's not taking up any memory. Because all these apps that you have, they take up memory. They're always running data in the background. It's just a big nuisance. So I went through my phone and I deleted most of the apps that I don't need. Some apps you do need because it's just you need it. But certain apps, it's if you really don't need that app. Just delete the thing, use the web browser version of it, and save it on your screen as a home page. Save it on your home screen. So if you want to know how to do that for anybody listening, I would Google search iPhone web page add to home screen or Android web page add to home screen. So, even the CRM, I have Infusionsoft, which is a really expensive database. And the mobile version of that database is pretty limited. It's like a lighter version. It's just stripped down to make it simple. But I actually need more functionality. So I don't use the mobile app of Infusionsoft. What I do is I just go to Infusion, I log in, and then I add that to my phone on the home screen. And now I have it as an app. It just opens up. Like all websites these days are mobile friendly. So why do I even need the app? You probably don't.
No.
Think of things like your CRM, data usage, whatever. There's so many apps that you could probably just scrap and get rid of. Voice to text is one of my biggest things. I'm using that for like 80% of my messages are typed by my voice, and then I edit it by hand. Like when you type by voice, it's not perfect with grammar and it's not perfect like in any manner, but it'll at least type out most of my message, and I only have to correct a couple things instead of me typing it all out. So if you find that your hands are hurting because you're just like always touching the keyboard and touching the phone, start using voice. A lot of times I don't even use the voice to text option. I use just a straight up voice. You can send voice messages to people, and I do that. I do that most of the time. I'm so sick of typing on my phone because I literally I get so many messages by people, and I love it. I'm not saying don't message me. I definitely do want you to message me. It's just I'm probably going to choose to answer by voice. Only because I need my thumb to work in 5 years. So if you don't know how to do this, just Google search iPhone voice to text keyboard or Android voice to text keyboard. And it's already built right into your keyboards. It just looks like a little picture of a microphone. And then you can start using that. And the more you use it, the better it becomes. It's kind of like a training thing.
Absolutely. And Danny, the way I do that is I just say, hey, I don't want to say it right now. I'll call Siri and say, send a text to, Danny Wood Mobile, and she'll bring it up on the phone book or on my phone and say, what do you want to say? And I'll tell her what I want to say. She'll read it back to me. And then I hit say send and it's gone.
Yeah. Oh my God. So much so. One of the big reasons we buy phones is because of the camera. And so the cameras on our phones are just like so amazing. And one of the things that is always turned off by default is this thing called a camera grid. So you're going to want to turn that camera grid on. If you don't know how, you're going to Google search iPhone camera grid or Android camera grid, and they're going to show you how to flip the little toggle on to turn it on. Mm-hmm. But why you need this is because if your photo is off kilt by even 1 or 2 degrees, it hurts a baby's soul somewhere. Like somebody is crying and you don't even know why. You just need straight shots. Like if you're taking a picture of a horizon, it needs to be level. And so by having these grids, you can clearly see that your photo is going to be straight. As an example, for when you're doing like interior shots of real estate, you can line it up with the walls, the windows, the door frames, or any other straight angle in the room. Now you know your shots are going to be perfectly bang on. So you definitely have to turn your grid on. I don't know what, just get used to it. I mean, people are like, oh, it looks ugly, it clutters up the screen. Well, the more and more you drive through the neighborhood, the more and more you stop paying attention to the street signs, the poles, the bus benches. It just becomes like background noise. Well, this is going to be the same thing. Eventually, it's just going to be a part of it and you're used to it and you don't even look at it anymore. It's just intuitive. So the grid is an amazing little buddy of yours. You can snap photos with your volume button on your phone. So basically get a better grip. So I Google searched professional selfie taker and I found a picture of one here. And you don't have to click the screen to take a picture. You can use the volume button. So the volume button on our phones is the shutter. So sometimes when you need a better grip, like say you're reaching out and if I was like doing Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls and I wanted to get like a really cool shot, that's kind of a scary scenario because what if I drop my phone in the water? There's a good chance. Well, when I hold my phone and I just hit the volume button as the shutter button, now I've got a like 100% chance that I'm not going to drop my phone in the water. So the volume button on your phone actually will allow you to take a picture and it works out really good. Custom repeating schedules on our phones. So I used to do an accountability group and I'd be like, okay, we're going to meet on the 4th Tuesday of every month. And then people would be like, they'd block it in their calendar. And then the next month they'd reach out to me and be like, okay, when are we meeting? I'm like, yeah, it's the 4th Tuesday of this month. So then they'd be like, oh yeah, okay. So they save it in their phone. And then a month later, they're like, hey, when's the next meeting? I'm like, man, it's the fourth Tuesday. It's every month is the same. It's the fourth Tuesday. So anyways, you can add custom repeating schedules in your calendar. So if you don't know how, you're going to Google search iPhone custom repeating schedule or Android custom repeating schedule. And when I add something, so there's a couple I have. I have one that I have a Verizon box in the States that I have to pay for a month and then put on hold for 3 months, and then pay for a month and put on hold for 3 months. And I'm always going to forget to do that. So anyways, I have a little custom repeating schedule in my phone, and it just pops up and reminds me of like, oh yeah, I got to call Verizon and do that thing I got to do. It could be done for team meetings or whatever. And you can even set the frequency of like the fourth Tuesday, the second Sunday, the first Monday. It's really cool how you can slice and dice this thing, but it's like you set one calendar or one appointment, and then for the rest of your life, it'll just keep reminding you of whatever that happens to be, such as your anniversary or such as whatever you want to remind yourself about. Oh, this is a huge one. Turn off your notifications. Okay, so gain control of your life by leaving just the essentials turned on. You do not need to know that your candy's been crushed or your farm's been built. Okay, like I don't care about. I have my Facebook messages. They're turned off. If somebody sends me a Facebook message, I don't see it until I choose to log in and look at my Facebook messages. Because if I put my phone down and it keeps dinging, it's like I don't know what's important, what's not important. Then I keep wasting my time with like Facebook reminding me of like, oh, this person just coughed, you should take a look. Get out of here. I'll look at Facebook when I want to look at Facebook. So I turn off all of my notifications on my phone, except for any calls, any texts, or anything. Like if I have a lead source, say I'm generating leads for my business, I'll have whatever that is. Those notifications will come to me for sure. So those are the only notifications I have. Everything else off. I turn them all off. Every notification. Don't need them.
Can I add something to that? If you can actually customize it too. You can actually have all of your notifications off. And let's say there's one phone number that actually sends you a lead, for example. You want to have a specific ringtone for that. You can actually do it too, and it will bypass everything else.
True. Yeah, that's right. I got one. My wife's phone is always turned off, and everybody's biggest complaint with her is that she doesn't answer the phone or call them back. So I had to save in her phone. I had to save my phone number to like bypass all of that silent stuff, so that she actually knows.
Yeah.
She still doesn't answer. It didn't work. It didn't solve the problem. I'm just kidding. Schedule do not disturb. So you can actually schedule predetermined do not disturb. So if you like to have family time and not everybody on the phone being distracted, you can schedule that so that like, okay, every night we eat between 6 and 7. So my phone automatically turns on do not disturb and then turns off right away. So you can predetermine that. I like doing it for my prospecting hours. I like doing my 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock is like my zone for prospecting. And so I don't want any distractions. So my phone actually turns on do not disturb automatically every day, 5 days a week during the weekdays. It will turn my phone do not disturb between 10 and 11 because I don't want any distractions because that's my time to be actually proactive. So you can predetermine that. You're just going to Google search iPhone do not disturb. You're going to Google search iPhone schedule do not disturb or Android schedule do not disturb, and then it will show you how. Here's a big one, and I'm going to have to do it today. So disable background data. Many apps use data and battery power even when you're not using the app. And when I say many, you're going to like crap your pants when you see how many apps are actually doing this. So what you want to do is Google search right now. Actually, Dave and Addie, do this right now on your phone. Google search, because I don't know what phones you use.
This is iPhone.
iPhone disable background data, and it's going to show you how to do that. Let me, I'm going to like take a little sidetrack because I got to do this too. So I'm going to go to my settings. Actually, you know what? I want to keep talking because this is a podcast for the people listening to audio, and I just like would have bored the crap out of them for
That's
5
right.
seconds.
That's right. Thank you, Danny.
So yeah. So anyways, just do that. I'm going to do it at the end of when we're done this call. I'm going to do this together with you guys, and we're going to see together how many apps are actually turned on. And
Right.
you're going to be like, I haven't used that app in 3 years. Well, what data has it been using, and what battery power has it been using all this time? You don't need them, because as soon as you download an app, usually they're triggered on by default, and you have to manually toggle them off. So we'll do that together as a group after the call. But anyways, for anybody listening, you just Google search iPhone disable background data, Android disable background data, and all of you are going to be shocked at the apps that you have open and running, and you're like, I haven't even used that app in like 6 months. Sharing of your location is another one of my tips. So I like to be safe. So when say I had a buyer team, and we had a girl on our team, and she was going to go show a vacant property to a real estate investor downtown Toronto at 9 o'clock at night. Well, I would like her to, when she gets to that showing, to send me a text of where her location is. And then when she's done the showing, she can just text me, okay, I'm going home, have a good night. Like, it's just a good little safety net to have. I do it when I'm parking my car. So say we all drive to Disney and we park in the Goofy parking lot. I'm going to share my location of where my car is with everybody so that they all have a map to get back to the car in case we get split up. So you can share your location. It's really cool. What you do is you just open up whatever the map is on your phone, because we all have different phones. So you just open up the standard map, and then it gives you the option, because when you look at a map on your phone, you're always in the center of it, and it's like a little pin, right? So you click on that pin, and then you can click share my location, and then you can just text that to whoever you want. So this road trip that I'm doing, where I move to a new city every month, I drop a pin of where I'm like living for that month, and then I text it to my mom, my dad, and my sister, and they have like an ongoing list of everywhere that I've been. My mom actually has a huge map that's the size of a wall, and she's putting real pins
that's cool.
across the map. Yeah, it is really cool. I even do it for myself to remember where I parked my car, like if I go to a mall or something. So I do it all the time. Google Translate. I'm not going to tell you guys to download a bunch of apps, but this is one that I'm going to suggest that you do get. You just go to the App Store and search Google Translate, and it will translate text, speech, and images in real time. So imagine you were at a restaurant, and it was an Italian restaurant, and the menu was written in Italian, and I'm like, well, I don't speak Italian, so this is going awkward. So I pulled out my Google Translate, and you hold your phone up to the menu, and it will Photoshop the menu in real time into English. So it translates the written words into English. I was doing an Uber trip in Galveston, Texas, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning at the airport, and the Uber driver comes and picks me up, and I didn't know this, but when an Uber driver confirms that they're going to pick you up, they don't know where they're taking you to, because they didn't want the Uber drivers to be selective and be like, oh, I'm not driving people there. Like, you know, like stereotyping, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so the Uber driver doesn't know where they're taking you until they actually get there and like check in that you're both together. Well, her face dropped, and she like all of a sudden couldn't speak English and wasn't driving me, because it was like an hour and a half drive, which I thought would have been a good thing for her. But apparently she didn't want to do the trip, and I didn't understand because she wasn't explaining why. So then I pulled out Google Translate. I'm like, what do you mean you can't give me a ride? And I said it in English, and then it dictated out in Spanish to her. And then so I'm like, what do you mean you can't give me a ride? And then it said it, and she's like, oh shit, he's got me now. So then she said, oh, well, I can't drive that distance because it's extremely foggy and I don't feel safe. Oh, well, now I understand. And I totally like respected her and gave her 5 stars and like gave her a hug goodbye. COVID didn't exist then, so we could hug. So I just got another Uber driver, and everything was good. So if you're ever dealing with clients that English isn't their oh no, it doesn't matter about English. Say you're dealing with a client and you both have 2 different languages and there's a language barrier. This is an awesome way to communicate, because you can just do it by voice. So I can talk normally. I don't even have to type. I can just talk. I do it when I'm like traveling. Say I'm in Mexico and I have to ask the front desk girl where the towels are. You would think the front desk girl would speak English because it's a hotel, but she didn't. And so I just pulled out my phone and I'm like, oh, where are the towels at? And then she like loved it because guys, if you want to like hit on girls while you're traveling, using this speech to any language option is hilarious. They love it. So anyways, it's called the Google Translate app, and we can really use it for our business. The measuring app is already built into our phones, whether you're iPhone or Android, and it allows you to take virtual measurements on the fly. So if you just in your own phone search measure app, it's already built in. So there's an example where, say I want to measure a couch because I want to know how big it is, or a TV, or I want to measure like the size of a desk or something. It's really cool. On your phone, you just like take a picture kind of, and in the middle of the picture is a dot, and then it'll drop a pin. So you would drop a pin on one corner of the wall, and then move your phone to the other corner of the wall and drop another pin, and then it gives you an estimate of like 6 feet, 5 inches. I wouldn't be using this for room measurements and uploading it to like the MLS as if you're a professional. But if you're in a pinch and you just want a rough estimate of like how big a TV is going to be or whatever, it's pretty damn accurate. And it's already built right into your phone. Pretty cool one. The one-handed keyboard. It's already a thing. It's already on all of our devices, and it's the stock keyboard that you already have. The challenge is these phones now are getting bigger and bigger to the point that they're folding in half. Like that's how big our phones are getting, that they had to make them so that they fold in half. So if you want to do two things at once, like I don't know how you could ever type and do something else at the same time, but if you were like an octopus and a magical man, then you could use the one-handed keyboard, and what it does is it shifts your keyboard to the left side, or it shifts your keyboard to the right, so that you can do it all with your thumb. I don't actually use that one, but I know a lot of people could, so I thought I'd share that. All right, this is where the rubber hits the road, guys. This is how I'm going to change the way you use your phone. It's my favorite tip of the day, the voice commands. So I'm just going to do a voice command right now. I'm going to be like, remind me to call Dave Chalmers Monday at 3 o'clock. Boom. In my phone, popped up, added as a scheduled appointment. It says call Dave Chalmers, and it's got the date and time, and at that time it's going to alert me. So I'm forever using this option where I'm like, oh, remind me in 11 months, Addie's home closed. And now I know, oh, a month before the home anniversary, it's going to just pop up. Be like, oh yeah, Addie, I got to give him a call. Like our number one complaint in this industry, in real estate, is lack of follow-up. And so this is such an easy, I don't have to log in. I don't even have to like open up my phone. I can do it while the screen is locked. Well, I can do it while I'm driving a car, and I can just hit the voice command and say, hey, oh yeah, hey, remind me to call Addie in 3 months. Remind me to call Dave tomorrow at 2. Like you can be specific with the day and time, or you can be generic, and it just works so good, man. So I'm going to give you a couple of voice commands that I really, really like, and they work with both Google and Apple. And so some of the ones that I really like would be, you can turn Wi-Fi on and off. So I could either say, hey, I'm not going to say her name because everybody's phone's going to get triggered. So I could either say that, but I don't even like saying that. I have my Siri, I have her turned off. And the only way is if I press and hold the side button. So I have it programmed so that I press and hold, and then she'll listen to me. Because if you have that hey name thing turned on, then what's really happening is your microphone is running 24 hours a day, because it is listening for you to say that. It doesn't just automatically turn on when you say it. How would it know? The only way it knows is because it's listening 24 hours a day. And I'm not saying like Big Brother, they're recording and actually listening, but it is using the microphone, and it is draining your battery power, because that whole time it's processing, it's waiting for that trigger command. And I just don't need that. I mean, I don't talk to her that much. So I have it so that it's a button on my phone. So, okay, you can switch to airplane mode. Brighten and darken the display. I use the volume a lot, so I'll be I can, on my earbuds, I can just double tap and be like, volume 70%, volume 80%. While I'm riding or running, I could just hold the button and change songs. Open settings. Oh, this is a fun one. Take a pano shot. Oh, hold on. Take a pano shot. And it opens up my camera in pano mode already. Or I could say, take a slow motion video. So it turned on my camera in video mode for slow motion settings without me having to open up my camera app, switch left and right, and find the slow motion camera. Like, I didn't have to do any of that. I already knew what I wanted. I just told my phone. Or I could be like, take a selfie. So it opened up my camera in selfie mode. So I didn't have to hit the little switch button to choose between cameras. So how many of us have to like unlock our phone, find the camera, open it up, and then pick what settings you want? Just tell the phone what you're about to do, and it will do it for you way faster than you would have done it for yourself. You can open up an app. So I could say, open up Spotify. Boom, Spotify, open. I didn't even have to unlock my phone. You can set a timer. I do this all the time. Set a timer for 30 minutes. Boom, timer added. 30 minutes, counting down right now. Cancel timer. Boom. The timer's canceled. Oh, this is a fun one. Flashlight on. Look at that. My flashlight turned on, and I didn't have to touch the screen or do anything. How many times are you guys like struggling with a lockbox? It's frozen outside. You got the clipboard in one hand, you got gloves on, and you're like scraping your knuckles on the ground trying to get this lockbox open. I could just say camera, flashlight on. Or if you want to be really cool in front of the kids, you say torch on. So I'll say torch off. Torch off. And it's off. Nice. Right. So if you want to be cool, you say torch. If you're just like a regular adult, you'll say flashlight. You can set timers, set alarms, all of those things. So I can set an alarm for tomorrow morning or today at a certain time. What time is it in Toronto, Ontario? There, it told me what time it is in Toronto, Ontario. When is the sunset tonight? Say I want to do photos and I want the sun to still be out. Okay, so the sun's going at, for me, the sun is going down at 4:14, and that is extremely depressing. What's the weather going to be today? Boom, she just told me, and now I hate her guts because it's going to be raining out. Now she wonders why I don't talk to her half the time.
We're going to be getting snow shortly, so.
What's the weather going to be like this weekend? All that sort of thing. Anything you want to Google search. What was the score of the game? What's the stock? What's the Apple stock now? Like, you don't have to open up your phone and go to Google and search the stuff. You can just say what you're wanting, and your phone will just give it to you. And you just have to get in the habit of it. Doing calculations and conversions. So what's $50 in euros? And it will tell you. Or what's $50 Canadian in USD? And it will tell you. Another one would be like, what's feet to meters? Because a lot of times in real estate, if you're looking at a listing, it will have the room measurements, and it's either in feet or meters usually. And depending on who you are, you always want it the other way around. It's never the one you want. So you can just do those conversions right on the spot in front of people, and it's cool. Percentages, if you want to know how much to tip, that sort of thing. Oh my God, I use the calculator all the time, and I never even open up the calculator. I just dictate what I want. I'll be like 25 times whatever. You can make a list. So I have a shopping list. So here I'll do add candy to shopping list. Boom. It just added candy to my shopping list. I didn't have to open up the list app. I didn't have to do anything. And I have my list synced with my wife. So now guess what? She's going to buy me candy because I just added it to the list. So you can add things like that. Reminding you to call certain people. Reminding me when I get home. So I could be like, remind me when I get home, I got to clean the cat litter or whatever. So say Becky like tells me, I'm talking on the phone with her and she's like, oh, don't forget when you get home to do this. There is like 1,000,000% chance when I get home, I am going to forget to do it because I probably was half-assed listening in the first place. So I've gotten into the habit of like telling my phone, oh yeah, remind me when I get home, I got to do this. So I just get my phone to remind me. When is my next meeting? I could say this. How many appointments do I have on Monday? It just opened up all of my appointments right on my home screen. So I didn't have to go to the calendar, swipe forward to Monday, and open it up. So imagine you're with clients and you want to book showings with them. Or if you're with clients and you want to have a closing on a certain date. Oh, that's a good one. So I'll say, what day is November 29th? So November 29th coming up next year is on a Monday, which is fine. You would never want a home closing on a Saturday or a Sunday or even a Friday, right? Because you want the lawyers to be open. So if you are setting a closing date for one of your listings, you can just be like, oh, what day is, and it will tell you, so you don't have to open up the calendar and see. And like, you saw how fast it is. I'm just talking to my phone. I'm getting the answers way quicker than you would have ever if you logged in, went to the calendar and swiped left and right. Like, all of these tips I'm giving you guys right now is literally going to save you 20 minutes a day. I don't know, whatever the number is. It's just like, you're going to like your phone a lot more when you start using this stuff. Just trying to think of some of the good ones. Oh, my birthday is November 29th also, by the way. That's happy birthday to me.
Set a reminder for Danny's birthday.
So let's do some of the video stuff. So I could say record a video, which I already showed. Oh, this is a fun one. Show me all my photos from Newfoundland. Boom, look at that. My phone just opened up my photos album with all of the photos filtered showing just Newfoundland.
Wow.
So
That's very interesting.
Are you ever like, oh, I want to show you a photo, and you're like scrolling for days? You're like, oh, hold on. Oh, don't look at this one. Hold on. And you're like scrolling. You could just say, show me all the photos from 123 Street. Show me all the photos from Oshawa. Show me all the photos from, so you can say the name of a place, but you can also say the name of an object. So I could say, show me all the photos of dog, and it will pull up every photo of my dog in my camera roll.
No, Danny, when you're doing the the places one, the phone has to have the location services turned on, and the geotagging must be turned on for all the pictures as well. Am I right?
Which is already set to yes by default for most people. So the only people that wouldn't work for is the people that went out of their way for it not to. Yeah. So show me all the photos of a certain date and time, which is awesome. Even people, I could say, show me all my selfies, and it will pull up all of my selfies. It's the weirdest thing that it can do that. Music. Oh, here's a big one. Okay. Listen to Spotify. You can say, listen to Apple Books. You can listen to, and it will like play that sort of thing. Or you can be specific, and I could say, play my running playlist. Because I have different playlists. I have like a hip hop playlist. I have a reggae playlist. I have a running playlist. And so I could just say the name of my playlist and it will come on. I could just tell it to skip songs. So next song, skip song, that sort of thing. I can pause and play the music. I can shuffle. I can play more just by saying the words. So I would hold the button and say, shuffle out, shuffle, and it'll shuffle it. Or you're ever like out in public and you hear, what song is this? Shazam. It Shazams. So how many times have you like heard something and you wanted to Shazam it and you're like fumbling? It's like 10 seconds before the song's gone and you like almost miss it. Now you can just say, hey, what song is this? And it will tell you the name of the song. It is awesome. Man, I love talking to my phone because I hate touching it. Like I'd throw my phone out the window if it wasn't such a critical piece of business. Doing any searches you want to do. So I'm always asking like the internal cooking temperature of chicken, pork, or whatever you're cooking, how to make something, the who, what, where, when, why, how. Basically anything you want to go to Google and search, just stop it. Don't open up your phone anymore. Just ask your phone for it and it will pop right up. So I'm really hoping I was able to inspire some new ways and thoughts of how you can use this little device that's in our pocket. They're way more smarter than people think. It's just we're so used to doing things the old way that we don't take advantage of these cool features of especially the voice controls. Like what you really want to do is Google search Apple Siri voice controls list. or Android voice control list. And somebody is going to have a blog, and it's going to be written up of all the different voice controls. And not all of them do you need, but you're going to like pick like 10. You're going to be like, oh, those 10 would really work for me. And boom, just use the 10. You don't have to use them all.
Oh, that's amazing. I got a couple. I got one that I want to share with you. You were talking about agent safety, and I thought this was something that I came across, and it's worthwhile sharing. On your iPhones, if you take the power button and you click it 5 times, it actually puts it in an emergency mode. It starts playing a siren, and it's ready to call 911. So if you're ever in an emergency and you need a deterrent, I wouldn't do it, Dave.
No, do it. No.
So you could actually click it 5 times, and it will put the phone in emergency mode, ready to make a 911 call.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that I didn't do, and that you guys should always do, is this. Remember where I parked. And it just dropped a pin. Boom. So it just dropped a pin where I parked. So say I park, like I go to the Eaton Center or something, and I'm parking, and I had to park outside on the street for some reason. So then I would say, remember where I parked. And then we do like 3 hours of shopping or whatever. I have no clue which direction I am or where to go. So then I say to my phone when I'm done, I'm like, where did I park? And then it drops a pin with map directions. I do that all the time. I do the remember where I parked. Sometimes I don't even have my car. It has nothing to do with that. I just want to remember where a location is. So like say I'm biking or like hiking. I do that too, where I'm hiking. I'll just remember where I parked, even though it has nothing to do with parking.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's great information, Danny. Thank you very much for jumping on. Really looking forward to having you back. Best of luck in 2021. For all our listeners, please stay tuned for the after show where we'll dissect the conversation we've had. And Danny, thank you very much for jumping on, and looking forward to having you back.
Awesome, guys. Love you. Bye.
You good?
Bye.
Well, Danny is Danny. There's no question about it. He's just, every time you talk to that guy, there's nothing but wonderful information coming in. It's just unbelievable. That's absolutely unbelievable.
You know what? He's one of those guys that is so in tune with everything that is going on, and he takes the time to analyze it. And I was blown away by his story. You know, the reason he's that good is because he failed grade for the first grade.
Yeah.
And he just kept failing and just kept learning from it. And that sums up Danny so perfectly, because the guy always has insights that you don't think about.
And the thing about I'll share is that we've done some stuff on a personal level, and he's like that about everything. Like today he was talking about business, but he's like that about his life. His whole life is like that. He's just so intense about it and so giving about it. It's just his whole outlook is so unique. It's just spectacular. And what he shared today was how to be more efficient, how to use your phone as a tool and integrate it into your business, but also into your life. But how to find a better parking place, and just like the steps. I'm going into town after this where you and I are finished, and I'll be recording my parking spot, just like you said. I've never done that before.
You know, I didn't want to say it in the podcast, but you actually have an option inside Google Maps as well to always turn it on. So whenever your car stops, it knows by the speed on how fast you were traveling that you're in a car. As soon as you get out, it records your parking spot as well. Oh,
really? Well, there you go. There you go.
Let me take a look at that. So I was really impressed. I was really impressed by the knowledge that he shared. Some of the tips and tricks are amazing, like using Siri and using Google to translate. That was great. Doing calculations was great. I think I'm going to start using my phone a lot differently after listening and watching this podcast.
Yeah, totally.
For listeners that want to follow along, you can watch the video of the podcast at www.ReMarkTO.live.com, where you can see a screen share where Danny's talking about all these little tips and tricks. And if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you leave us feedback. 5-star reviews are preferred. And if you can leave a comment in there explaining why you're leaving a 5-star review, we would highly appreciate it. Till next time, Dave.
All the best, pal.
Take care.